Love comes in many shapes and sizes, some not so healthy. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movie couples who are actually toxic.
I need you to show me what you want to do to me. Punish me. Show me how bad it can be.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at romanticized film couples who bring out the worst in each other. Couples who ultimately recognize their own toxicity, however, like Heather's JD and Veronica, won't be included. Number 10. Jay Gatsby and Daisy Buchanan, The Great Gatsby.
I'm certainly glad to see you again.
Based on F. Scott Fitzgerald's classic novel, 2013's The Great Gatsby remains relatively faithful to the source material. In other words, Gatsby and Daisy are doomed from the start. A World War I veteran, Gatsby returns home to learn that the love of his life, Daisy, married another man to secure a comfortable future. Using various shady means, Gatsby builds a fortune to win back a woman who does not really exist. Gatsby idealizes Daisy to a toxic degree.
You're wrong.
The film does criticize the title character's delusional romanticism, but it struggles to convincingly get this message across, leaving room for some to interpret it as a tragic romance, rather than the one-sided obsession that it is.
I wish it could always be like this.
It will be.
Number 9. Sandy Olsson and Danny Zuko, Grease.
You're a fake and a phony, and I wish I'd never laid eyes on you.
Sparks flew instantly when these two high schoolers met during summer vacation, but a clash of personalities and social backgrounds stood in the way of a full-blown romance. As cinema's quintessential good girl falls in love with bad boy love story, Grease's infectious songs and charismatic cast help mask Sandy and Danny's lopsided relationship. In order to earn the right to stand alongside the Greaser gang's leader, Sandy completely alters her personality and clothing, while Danny's efforts mainly amount to putting on a sweater. Rather than meeting halfway, Sandy sacrifices 80% to Danny's 20%.
Sandy?
Tell me about it, Stir.
Number 8. Edward Lewis and Vivian Ward, Pretty Woman.
Hey, Sugar, you looking for a date?
Pushing past the deceased prostitute in a dumpster, Pretty Woman is a modern Disney fairy tale. An emotionless, wealthy businessman obsessed with appearances, Edward hires the assertive but earnest Vivian as a makeshift girlfriend for 6 days. Long story short, Vivian loosens Edward up, while the rich man saves the princess from a life on the streets.
3,000 for 6 days. And Vivian, I will let you go.
But I'm here now.
Starting out as a dark drama with a far more downbeat conclusion, Pretty Woman uses Richard Gere and Julia Roberts' indisputable chemistry to hide the fact that Edward and Vivian have absolutely nothing in common. While the so-called corporate raider and womanizer does eventually become a little nicer, Edward never really stopped seeing Vivian as property to own.
What are you, my pimp now? You think you can just pass me around to your friends? I'm not some little toy.
Number 7. Indiana Jones and Willie Scott, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
The biggest trouble with her is the noise.
If Raiders of the Lost Ark's Marion Ravenwood is Indiana Jones's equal in every way, then the prequel's love interest is the exact opposite. A singer working in a Shanghai nightclub, Willie is inadvertently dragged on a wild adventure by Indiana Jones, with the two eventually becoming romantically involved.
And you're just too proud to admit that you're crazy about me, Dr. Jones.
Along with showing a little regard for the singer's safety, Indy seems constantly annoyed by Willie, and doesn't even bother hiding it. Temple of Doom only brings this couple together because Indiana Jones is an action hero, and action heroes must get the girl, even when they make for a terrible match apparently.
I'm a conceited ape?
I'll tell you in the morning.
Number 6. Rhett Butler and Scarlett O'Hara, Gone with the Wind.
No, I don't think I will kiss you. Although you need kissing badly.
Frequently ranked amongst the greatest romances of all time, Gone with the Wind is a gorgeous epic about a couple who are simultaneously perfect and awful for each other. While undeniably strong and charming, Scarlett is also immature, selfish, and incapable of accepting rejection. In fact, the protagonist spends the whole movie trying to impress the married Ashley Wilkes, the one man seemingly capable of resisting her spell. Coming in as husband number 3, Rhett is the only person who loves the real Scarlett, although the character is not exactly a gentleman. By the time Scarlett reciprocates her husband's affection, Rhett has pretty much already given up on the romance.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Number 5. Belle and Beast, Beauty and the Beast.
What are you doing here?
Who's there?
Whenever Disney's gothic fairy tale is mentioned, the word Stockholm Syndrome tends to be brought up. While the captive does end up falling for their captor, this bond arguably stems from Beast's genuine attempts to change for the better, rather than as a survival mechanism for Belle. Even if Beauty and the Beast does not mistake Stockholm Syndrome for love, however, Belle and Beast's relationship still carries too much baggage to ever be wholesome. 2017's version is arguably even worse, as the remake ramps up Beast's bitterness while cutting out a few tender moments from the animated film that showed the captor trying to become a better person.
You'll join me for dinner. That's not a request.
Number 4. John James, Mr. Big Preston, and Carrie Bradshaw, Sex and the City.
I don't have time for this.
You're not taking it seriously.
No, I'm not. It is a circus.
Carrie dates dozens of guys throughout the TV series' 6 seasons, but the fashionista's gaze always shifts back to the elusive Mr. Big. HBO's series ends with the couple finally coming together to seemingly live happily ever after. Unfortunately, the subsequent 2 movies seem content to only highlight the couple's animosity. Sex and the City presents Mr. Big as an unattainable ideal who has no place in Carrie's reality, but the two end up together despite years of failed attempts. People do not just change, and the movies only cement this point. In fact, in the first film, Mr. Big leaves Carrie at the altar and apologizes through an email. Who does that? The answer? Someone you shouldn't keep trying to build a life with.
I knew you would do this! I knew it!
Carrie, I'm sorry.
Number 3. Bella Swan and Edward Cullen, The Twilight Saga.
I feel very protective of you.
Centering a massive franchise around a toxic relationship is perfectly fine, permitting the story acknowledges that the couple is kind of terrible. Twilight sadly lacks this self-awareness. Edward is a centuries-old vampire who nonetheless attends high school. Conversely, Bella is a 17-year-old girl with low self-esteem and a hankering for some fang-on-neck action. Craving excitement and validation, Bella is an easy mark for an abusive partner, a role earnestly filled by Edward. Prone to bouts of jealousy and desperate to control Bella's every move, the vampire molds the teenager into an obedient human partner. Of course, it doesn't take long for Bella to similarly master the art of emotional manipulation.
Nobody's ever loved anybody as much as I love you.
Number 2. Christian Grey and Anastasia, Anna Steele, 50 Shades of Grey.
Impressive.
I've done this before.
Emotional abuse masquerading as a fetish relationship, 50 Shades of Grey's core relationship hits so many glaring red flags that any genuinely romantic moments feel accidental. The timid Anastasia agrees to serve as the rich Christian's sub, who proceeds to isolate, stalk, intimidate, and manipulate the inexperienced girl. Along with misrepresenting the core values of a healthy BDSM dynamic, 50 Shades of Grey paints the pair's relationship as exciting and a work in progress. Anastasia repeatedly gives Christian a second chance in the hope the dude will eventually change for the better, which is like the #1 thing you're not supposed to do in a healthy relationship.
The rules stand.
What if I break them?
Then there'll be consequences.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions.
You loved me. Then what right had you to leave me?
Look, don't be confused. We're getting married.
I don't see how we can.
You don't know any of my friends, you don't look at any of my friends, and you certainly wouldn't condescend to speak to any of my friends. So you just strip to the things that you know.
Oh yeah, that's got your interest. Well, if you think we're gonna finish what we started in LA, you are out of your mind. You lost your chance.
Oh, come on.
You know, in case you were wondering, the person whose calls you always take, that's the relationship you're in. I hope you two are very happy together.
Number 1. The Joker and Harley Quinn, Suicide Squad.
When have you ever contributed a worthwhile idea to this gang?
Batman the Animated Series introduces Harley Quinn as Joker's partner, and while the relationship is problematic from the start, it reaches peak crazy in Suicide Squad. A psychiatrist working at Arkham Asylum, Harley is manipulated by Joker into becoming the villain's verbal punching bag.
I did everything you said. I helped you.
At best, Joker sees Quinn as an amusing distraction. At worst, the sidekick is a tool to be used and discarded at a moment's notice. Due to Mr. J's scenes revolving solely around Harley, Suicide Squad paints the couple as an insane duo who take toxic to a whole new level. Harley's entire existence revolves around the Joker, but the reverse does not hold true.
Okay, honey. It's me and you.
Let's do it.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.